The Enneagram Type 3, the Achiever disposition. Hello, this is Chris speaking. Wake up with a video about the Enneagram, this time Type 3, Archetype 3 disposition, the Achiever, the Motivator, the Role Model, the Paragon, the Communicator, the Status Seeker, the Best, the Ambitious One. In our society, the archetype, the kind of personality that is most celebrated and sought after is the achiever, is number 3. We are being taught that this is how everyone has to be a workaholic. The American dream, especially in America. Yeah? The American dream, if you work your butt off, then you can be super successful, rich, happy, whatnot. So while this bullshit is being fed to us by the capitalist industry, to everyone, there are some people who are really like that. They don't need any brainwashing to want that. They are like this. And those people are called the achievers. Or in Enneagram terms, the archetype number 3. But why do they want this? Why are they so driven, so adaptable? Why do they want to excel? Why are they so image conscious and ambitious and conscientious? Because, again, there's an underlying fear. The fear of being worthless, of having no value apart from their achievements. They want attention, they're emotional, they demand attention. But they also want to prove it to themselves and to others that they are better, that they can really do it. They want to find out, can I really do it? They're very courageous also. Often they are also thrill seekers, in sports, for example. Then there's also an underlying desire, of course, not just an underlying fear, but an underlying desire to feel accepted and desirable and to have value. There's a famous proverb in Britain called, if you want something well done, give it to a busy man. Those kind of people are meant with this. They are busy, and if you give them more to do, they will do more, and well. Many politicians and people in industry are like that. People who start businesses and companies. The Elon Musk kind of guy. The Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of guy. The Rock. These kind of people. I'm not saying that they're number 3, but they could very well be. Don Richard Riso names Werner Erhard, for example. That's a very interesting example. Werner Erhard is the one who founded Landmark Education. Very interesting idea. Could very well be. Examples that I know of is, for example, Sadhguru, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Sri Ramana Maharshi, Moji. Frank Young could be one. Joe Biden could be one. Tizian, the painter, the artist. Buckminster Fuller. Nirod Baran. Samuel Beckett. Elvis Presley. Don Richard Riso also mentions Tony Robbins as an example. I don't think he is, but he would fit the picture just looking at him and listening to him. Many of these success gurus we have now that kind of usurp the spiritual marketplace, who are actually orange but pretend to be yellow in Spell Dynamics terms. They're often number 3 types. They're very ambitious, sportive business types who suddenly recognize that there's a spiritual marketplace as well, and they want to earn the big bucks there as well, and it works also. Like Bob Proctor, for example, who died recently. He's the epitome of a success coach. But also many of these personality development gurus, it's not about personality development, not in spirituality. It's easy for them to confuse that, but it's not the same. It can be helpful to develop your personality, to get through the first 6 colors of spiral dynamics, to develop your ego to a point where then you can deconstruct it again. But personality development has no place in spirituality. With very few exceptions, like the Enneagram, because the Enneagram, it's called personality types, but actually it's a spiritual system that Gurdjieff brought to the West. And of course the West warped it into a personality type system. It's not. It's a helpful tool on the way to awakening and enlightenment, because you can see where are your obstacles. And the obstacle, of course, for number 3 on the spiritual path is the idea that spirituality is something you can achieve. It's not. You have to surrender. There's no achievement. So it's very dangerous for type number 3s to start with any kind of yoga, because yoga also has the inbuilt fallacy that anything can be achieved. If you meditate hard enough, then you achieve enlightenment. That's bullshit. But for number 3 types, this sounds totally logical, and then they try to become enlightenment by very, very hard discipline and work. But unfortunately, this is not the way, especially not for number 3s. They have to stop trying to achieve something. Just as the 2s have to stop helping, and the 5s have to stop thinking, and the 8s have to stop taking charge all the time, and the 1s have to stop feeling right all the time. The 3s have to stop achieving. They have to surrender, more so than others even. 3s have this delusion, if I try hard enough, I can achieve anything. This is not true, especially not for the spiritual path. We all have talents, and someone who's a very talented tennis player will always be a better tennis player than someone who's not talented, no matter how much he practices. That's for normal skills. But enlightenment is not a skill. Enlightenment is surrender. 3s are very skillful and have many talents, learn fast, can work long hours with little sleep or rest, but all these things won't help you with the spiritual path, because it's ambition. And ambition is ego. Ambition is what drives the ego to be better. There is nothing you can be better at in the spiritual path, and especially not with an ego. You have to let go of this personality you're identified with, and with that the ambition will also disappear. Warning signs for you if you're number 3 are physical exhaustion and burnout of relentless workaholism. Yeah? You don't give yourself a break. That's a problem. So if you care too much about your self-image, how you're seen, how others see you, then you will work yourself to death. That doesn't help you. And this will also can lead to some feeling of inner emptiness, because deep down you know that all this work and success is not making you happy. Deep down you know that all these millions you are earning or have earned are not making you as happy as you hoped to. Of course they make you happy, but not the way you hoped to. Jealousy can also be a warning sign, or even exploiting others for your own benefit. Rage can also be a problem, even psychopathic behavior. narcissistic behavior, hedonism, depression can be, and one very common physical symptoms can be high blood pressure. There are two wings, of course, the 2 wing and the 4 wing. Both of them are equally emotional and attention seeking. 2s are more extrovert, 4s are more introvert. A 3 with a 2 wing has more self-esteem issues and will even be more of a workaholic and has more chances of ending in a burnout or chronic fatigue syndrome, which is similar but not the same. The 3s with a 2 wing define themselves more via friendships than via work. They want to be loved by others more than being admired for their status and money and success. They're very dazzling. They're very flamboyant personalities, like Elvis Presley also. Can be very vain too. The path of integration, the positive, healthy growth direction, is towards the 6. And the path of disintegration is towards the 9. The path of the 6 takes away from this ambition and foolhardiness and is more careful and empathetic. It's more caring about others. While when there's stress, too much stress, and you go towards the 9, what happens is usually some kind of breakdown. And this should be an opportunity. This should be an opportunity to change something in your life. Like burnout, for example. Burnout is a chance to change something. You have seen that this way it doesn't work. You may have to make radical, essential changes in your life. Then we have the 3 subtypes. Firstly, there's the social subtype, the prestige one. They want to be in the spotlight, on stage. They want to climb the ladder very quickly. They're the most competitive and most aggressive on the way to success. And with success, of course, I mean worldly, material success. Then there's the sexual subtype, the charismatic one. This one is also the most vain. He wants to, or she wants to be very attractive and wants to be celebrated, admired. There's this proverb in the success coaching business: if people are envious, then you did something right. But they can also be very supportive. They're very, very nice to their friends and even share their success. And then there's the counter type, the self-preservation type. There's always one counter type which is atypical. And while 3s usually are not very afraid, the counter type is. It's very security oriented. He's not so much attention seeking and is determined to be a good person. He or she will not walk over corpses to get to their success. So, you can see now why number 3s are not so common. They're more common than number 8s and 9s, but otherwise they're one of the least common archetypes on the spiritual path, because it is so hard to get away from this ambition and identification with worldly material success and start a spiritual path, which is usually not about material success. I mean, you can be, of course, you can be wealthy and spiritual. You don't have to give everything up and live like a monk. But that usually happens that way around. First you're healthy, first you become wealthy, and then spiritual. Very rarely the other way around. Very rare that you first spiritual and then become wealthy. Okay, this video is already too long. Thank you for liking and subscribing and joining me as a Patreon. Thank you for all my Patreons. Thank you for thumbs up and hitting the bell button and sharing the videos with your friends. Leave your comments below and see you soon.